Minister's vision of hosting the Olympics and Paralympics Games in India in 2036 has taken a significant step forward. According to sources, the Indian Olympic Association has formally now sent a letter of intent to the future host commission, International Olympic Committee, on the 1st of October 2024, expressing India's interest to host the Olympics and Paralympics Games in 2036. The monumental opportunity could bring substantial benefits, fostering economic growth, social progress and youth empowerment across the country. So this is a vision that the Prime Minister had spoken of. My colleague Karishma is joining us on the broadcast with the details. Dr. Deepa Malik, Padma Shri Khel Ratna Executive Board Member of the Asian Paralympic Committee, ex-President of Paralympic Committee of India, and the first woman Paralympic medalist, also joining us on the broadcast. Before I come to you, Dr. Deepa, I want to go across to Karishma, my colleague. Karishma, this is a big update. The Prime Minister has often spoken about India's bid to host the Olympics. What are the details on this step, a significant step that has been taken by India in this regard?
Well, Pratibha, the first step has been taken, which was, of course, submitting a letter of intent to the future host commission of the International Olympic Committee, and that has been done on the 1st of October by the Indian Olympic Association. This was something that had been discussed for a long time, because PM Narendra Modi has spoken about wanting to host the Olympic Games and the Paralympic Games, and the first big significant step is to send a formal letter of intent to the future host commission. That has been done. No city name has been mentioned in that letter that has been sent. It just says that India would like the opportunity to host the Olympic Games and the Paralympic Games, and IOA and Sports Ministry sources have confirmed to us are very confident of their chances of hosting the 2036 Olympics. We've seen in the past how respect has been accorded to sports and sports persons, not just those who win medals for the country, but also to those who participate and win laurels for the country, who represent the country. And this is a move that is going to help deeply connect sport at the grassroots level as well, which is also on the agenda as far as Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision for sports and sports persons is concerned in India.
He has spoken about it time and again, and now it's a step closer towards reality. Karishma, thank you for joining us. Dr. Deepa Malik, this is a big moment for the country. Of course, this is just the first step, but the Indian Olympic Association has formally sent the letter of intent for sports persons, for the country. What do you think this means? Because the first step has now been taken.
It's indeed a moment of celebration, because the intent itself expresses that our nation is now totally focused on becoming a sporting nation. Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji is always focused on Fit India movement and has encouraged new policies, and especially inclusion of sports and making disability sports also mainstream with the new robust policies and encouraging. And the results are showing in past 8-10 years that how the number of medals, number of participation, number of women coming out and participating. And I think this whole buzz around being a host country for the largest platform of sports is going to further that momentum. And we often say that India does not win so many medals, and I think bidding for Olympics and Paralympics is not just about bidding for a sport, but it is sending out a clear message into the nation that we want our youth to be fit, we want our youth to become sports stars, and we want our lifestyle to engage in sports. With it will definitely, Paralympics will also be hosted, and that itself, when you are going to host Paralympics of that stature, which is the largest sporting platform, it is not only going to create more awareness and opportunity in India, but also make India more inclusive. The ecosystem of sports is going to start growing from now, where we're going to talk about inclusive sports. We're going to talk about more and more people becoming, whether physiotherapists, nutritionists, coaches. We talk about classifiers, referees, technical delegates. So there's going to be a parallel interest in the growth of Paralympics as well. And me personally, as a Paralympian, As an administrator into the system, I think nobody would be more happy than me to see para sports grow parallelly with the Olympics.
Absolutely. And the Prime Minister, you also mentioned it, the Prime Minister also makes it a point to ensure that sports is imbibed, whether it is speaking to the Olympians, speaking to the sports stars often, and many have also spoken about how he is very personally connected to them as well. But I want to ask you before that, because the first question that comes to mind is, even as India makes this bid, the first question that comes to mind is, it's an audacious bid yet, but are we ready for something like this, for something, an event so big as the Olympics to take place in the country? Is our infrastructure good enough? Do we have enough infrastructure across the country? Olympic ready country, can we really call ourselves that?
And why not? I mean, we have been, when I was personally present at 141st IOC meeting, which was held in Mumbai, and I had personally heard Honorable Prime Minister show that intent when the entire committee was present and the leaders of the sporting world from across the world were present, and when Honorable Prime Minister says that we want to host it. He said it in his speech even that day, almost a year ago. I mean, he's a man of his commitment and he's a man of his words. And if our Prime Minister is saying it, that means we are ready and we can do it. And why not? We can do it. In fact, I'll give you a very small example. In run-up to 2024 Paris Paralympics, we had hosted the World Cup for parachuting. And this was also the qualification event for people to get quota allocation for 2024. And the letter that we got from the International Committee that this was one of the best and most technically sound World Cup that India had hosted, and 48 countries had participated. So it's not that we can't do it. It's just that we and we have so much time to prepare for it. We can definitely do it, and we need to do it. It is not just about can we do it, we need to do it, because India is now considered and counted as economic leader, is a geopolitical leader.
Yes.
It is looked upon by the whole world, and it is time that India takes on such responsibilities which are global. So we have to do this.
Okay, all right. You're saying we're ready, and this is the first step to take, and we have a few more years to go. We have been over the last many years building our infrastructure. Our sportspersons are also doing much better than before. So why not cash in on this momentum and start? Dr. Deepa, I request you to stay with us, because I also want to hear from our viewers. I want to invite our viewers as well who are watching to call us with your thoughts. Do you think we are ready to host the Olympics? What do you think of India's bid to host the Olympics? We want to hear from you. So viewers, the numbers are flashing at the bottom of your screens. Call us and tell us what you think. So Dr. Deepa, you're saying that the Olympic ambition is not too far-fetched. The country's sporting prowess is also growing over the last several years. You're talking about how you've seen it firsthand as well happen. But when we speak of India's performance in terms of sports, there are several questions that are raised on whether we're up to mark or whether there can be a lot more that can be done for a nation with such a huge population, with the infrastructure that's available. So do you think that is going to be one of the challenges in hosting the Olympics? The fact that India's performance will also come into question, or you think that's a completely separate issue? We're hosting the Olympics, so we're going to be the hosts.
See, whenever India has hosted any global event, whether it is G20, whether it is any other, trade fairs or international trade fairs, we have that culture of Atithi Devo Bhava. And when we say world is one family,
yes,
we definitely are good hosts, and we go to the minutest details required. So as a country, yes, it is not difficult for us to host. If you're saying participation, it is these events, when we start hosting these international events in a country, that the culture of sports is going to grow. It is when we know that 2036 we're going to have Olympics and Paralympics, we will see the youth's interest also going in that direction. We will see the economy and job opportunities opening up in that direction, which means that the ecosystem around the sports culture is going to grow. And that is what is lacking, and that is what we require to do. If I say I think para sports in India have been in a nascent stage. It has just been in the last 10 years, 8 years that we have seen the real development. When 2010 Commonwealth Games were hosted in India, in Delhi, that is when actually a serious thought towards para sports was given, because Commonwealth has a mandate participation of Paralympic sport within the same sporting event. And that's when actually everybody started thinking about para sports in a more formal manner, and which were further, our policies were defined only after 2014, cleared policies. And in just 8 years, you see how many medals have started coming. So we need to create that ecosystem, that culture, that thought, that governance, and only then can we think of winning medals and growing. So this step is very important, and as a sportswoman, it is, and I don't know, coincidentally, I'm wearing a T-shirt which already says celebrating.
Okay, so you knew this was coming. So, something in your mind said that it was coming. And I'm sure you're in the know-how, Dr. Deepa. So I want to ask you, because there are so many questions raised, how should we prepare for it? We've addressed some of the concerns that many people also have around India hosting an event like the Olympics, because we've never hosted the Olympics up until now. So in terms of challenges, we've spoken about it. But what about preparation? What do you think, if you're going with the single-minded focus of hosting the Olympics in 2036, what are the steps that India should take?
I think infrastructurally, we see our roadways, our airports are one of the best airports in the world. Our highways have become so good that it is comparable to any developed country now. We have the largest network of railways, we have the largest network of roadways, we have the largest network of
Dr. Deepa, my sincere apologies for interrupting you. We have a viewer joining us on the broadcast, and I want to ask them as well if they have any questions that they would want to ask you regarding the same as well. We have Ramanik joining us. Thank you for joining us. What do you have to say about India's bid to host the Olympics?
Well, this is the best idea that I've heard in a long time. And I'm sure once we host this in 2036, then the world will come asking us to host it again and again and again. That is what my feeling is. This is the best thing that has happened to India.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for joining us. So, Dr. Deepa, like you were mentioning, infrastructure is one of the questions that come to mind for many challenges. But at the same time, there's also going to be a lot of excitement across the country. Many who believe that they're just watching the sports on TV for all these years are also going to be involved in some way or the other, isn't it?
So that's what I'm saying. It is not just about sports persons playing sports. It is also about so many things which are attached to it: broadcasting, anchoring, commentary, equipment, sports gears. We have to have the technical, medicinal knowledge around it. So the whole ecosystem will grow, and that is going to be like an asset. It is not just hosting a sporting event. It is investing in the health and future fitness of our nation, because that is how I see bidding for the Olympics and Paralympics 2036.
Okay, all right. We have B. Vittal also joining us from Hyderabad. Thank you so much for joining us. So Vittal, what do you have to say about India's bid to host the Olympics?
Yes, I support that. Host the Olympics in Hyderabad, India. I support.
Okay, you're in support of India's bid of hosting the Olympics. All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We have Nagendra also joining us from Mandi. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Nagendra. What do you make of India's bid to host the Olympics? Do you think the country is ready for it?
मैडम, मैं हिमाचल प्रदेश के सरकाघाट मंडी से नागेंद्र सिंह नेगी बोल रहा हूँ।
जी बोलिए।
मैम, ये इट इज ग्रेट प्राउड ऑफ अस, लेकिन सबसे बड़ी बात मैडम ये है कि आने वाले ओलंपिक में कोई भी पॉलिटिशियन, चेयरमैन, अध्यक्ष की जिम्मेदारी नहीं दी जानी चाहिए। इंतजामिया कमेटी में जो एक्सपीरियंस्ड लोग हैं जो ऑफिसर्स हैं या भूतपूर्व जो खिलाड़ी हमारे रहे हैं उनके ऊपर जिम्मेदारी दी जानी चाहिए। अन्यथा सुरेश कलमाड़ी और जो ब्रिजभूषण की तरह के जो लोगों को इस तरह की जो जिम्मेदारियां दी जाती हैं उससे देश की भी छवि खराब होती है और हमारे लिए भी एक बहुत आघात की बात होती है जो पार्टियों के लोग इसमें घुसेड़े जाते हैं। मैडम धन्यवाद।
जी आपने बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट रेज किया है नागेंद्र जी। यू नो, these are some of the concerns that some have spoken about of what happened during the Commonwealth Games and the ghosts of that, whether they are going to return. That's a worry that many have expressed as well on whether India is ready or not. But times have changed. I request our viewers also to stay on with us, as earlier times I had also spoken to the Indian Olympic Association President PT Usha, who spoke about India's bid to host the Olympics amid a lot of excitement, a lot of questions that have come in as well. Listen in to what she said.
Have there been any sort of serious discussions with regard to hosting the Olympics?
We don't want to let it down, no, PM's vision. So yesterday also I spoke to host commission, and but we are not going to, and frequently we are going to have the dialogue with them. And I have convinced them yesterday also. They called us and
convinced the executive committee?
No, the host commission, host commission in Lausanne. Yesterday we had a conversation, like dialogue with them, and we will do that.
Ma'am, have cities been shortlisted which will host the Olympics? A lot of buzz going around where Olympics will be hosted in India.
No, that is not actually declared, but I think everything will be. We should be in frequent dialogue with the host commission, so that it will be happen everything. And she talked to us yesterday, and very soon again dialogue will be there, and I think we will